Hello, welcome back to the person who watches all my videos. My name is Craig and we have another episode of our guitar making today. The sides that we bent last time to the neck and end blocks. First step is we just trim the sides to fit our mold. And we want the ends to, as close as possible, come to the join of our two mold halves. So try and keep our whole guitar as symmetrical as possible. Makes it easy to do it that way. We can see where we're doing the wrong thing or the right thing much more easily, and the guitar should line up really well at the end. Okay, having trimmed those two sides, we're now just going to get our neck block that we attached to our neck a couple of videos ago. Just put a little line up there to make sure that we are going to have our sides right on the center line of our guitar. Okay, we've jumped ahead slightly here because I unfortunately decided to try and show you how I glued the blocks on by holding it rather than doing it in the actual mold, and it was out of camera, so we missed that part. So I'm just radiusing the back on this at the moment. Takes a long time. It's one of the most painful parts of building a guitar. I won't show you all of it, but we'll show you a little bit. I do the sides first before I add the kerfing to it. Makes it a little bit easier overall. Add a bit of blue chalk so I can see where I still have to go. Make sure that I have all the sides and the blocks radiused properly. About 20 minutes later, it's pretty well done. Next step is to add the kerfing. Now, if our back was flat and we put on our kerfing on the inside here, we'd have no problem in the kerfing being level with the sides, and we have a nice flat level surface. However, our back is curved to give it some structural support for the back, as well as possibly allowing a little bit better projection for the sound as well back to the soundboard. So our kerfing, when we do that, if we exaggerate it slightly, we'll put our kerfing here. If we magnify one of those parts, there's our side, there's our kerfing, there's our back coming across here. If we were going to radius that now, we're going to have to cut through a large part of our side there when we're doing the kerfing. So what we do, we put our kerfing a little bit proud of the side, so it stands up a little bit on the inside there, probably in the order of about 1 millimetre, maybe 1.5 millimetres. And so when we try to give the radius to the sides, it's going to be cutting through the kerfing, not the side. So we'll still have the same dimensions of our side that way, rather than losing some of the sides as we would if we did it like that. So that's our reason that we'll put our kerfing on about 1 millimetre, 1.5 millimetres proud of the sides all the way around. Which means, of course, we've got to do sanding. We've got to do sanding anyway. This kerfing length makes it a little bit easier to do overall, rather than the smaller pieces that you have to join 2 or 3 together. I use these Stumac kerfing clamps. They work okay for me. Sometimes you got to be careful of it. Just check them before you finish the final kerfing, because sometimes it may not completely clamp at certain parts. But if you check it out, it works quite well. I used to use pegs. These are better than pegs. Just get the right size first before you start gluing it. Now you don't have to do this inside the mould. You can take the sides out and do it outside, but after what happened when I was gluing the neck and end blocks on, I decided I'd better keep it in the mould so you can at least see what's going on. The problem being in the mould is that the spreaders that I use in the middle are difficult to get in the right place when you put the second lot of lining on, but I'll do it that way anyway. It's alright for a larger guitar, but for the OM the spreader is just a little bit too wide. Now the kerfing will move around a little bit, so I get it approximately where it should be. Then I go back and feel the kerfing to make sure that it is just slightly above the sods. And I check that several times because when you are moving around and attaching these clamps, it can come slightly out of kilter again. I said before, the kerfing on this should be about 1 to 1.5 millimeters above the sides. And I use plenty of these clamps. If you don't use enough, you may find that it doesn't press down hard enough to keep it in position. The clamps work best in one orientation, so I'm just checking each time I do it to make sure I've got the right orientation on it. Check they're all in the right position and they're holding the kerfing firmly against the sides, and then fix up any glue spilled as well. And squeeze out. Okay, all finished, both parts of that one side now. So we've got to now do some more sanding. We've got a radius for the kerfing now. Okay, it's pretty well finished now. Use chalk again and it's all gone. Now I'm just making sure that when I set it up that the joins are all level with each other and level with the halfway mark on the mould, so that makes it easy to see what you're doing when you're adding the top and the back. And also later on that join is also useful for lining up your Okay, so we're finished radiusing both the top and the back now. All we have left to really do is to reinforce the sides. Now, Blackheart sassafras tends to react vigorously to humidity, and that can cause it to warp a little bit. And plus this one has those nice streaks. I don't know if you can see those streaks that we have around here, and those discolorations are probably a good area for the wood to actually come apart. So instead of just putting the normal reinforcement strips that I'd put around there, I was thinking I might actually put in a sheet around there, here, and maybe around this part up here as well. So put in a strip about that big on each of those parts, plus a few small reinforcement ones as well, just to make sure it doesn't move. So it's not quite a double-sided one. It won't have the weight that you have for a double-sided guitar, but hopefully it should improve the stability of it. In previous ones, I've actually put like a hatched type of structure around the back, both sides, and it worked well, but took a long time to do, so I'll think about that and get back to that later on. But one of the worst things is now finished, which is doing the radiusing. Plenty of sawdust from that. So next time we'll either be showing you how I do the reinforcement, or we'll be up to looking at putting the backs and the side and the top on. Thank you for watching.